United Nations, Council of 13, the Masons, Illuminati, Royal Order of Jesters, Skull and Bones, and the Gates and Rockefeller Foundation. Hey, New World Order! We're coming for you, never forgot 9/11, and we studied your moves. We got your blueprints down, now you're bound to lose. And look us in the eyes when we tighten that noose. Snap, America's coming back for vengeance. Pushed us to the fences, this time's offensive. Snake strikes defensive, so tread on that. Our people went off course, we led them back. So united we stand, divided they fall. Just the torso, no legs and arms. Heads on spikes, all global is gone. It's either that or enslaved with a chip in our arm.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the America First Warehouse for the Know Your Enemies podcast. I'm James Justice. We got Steve and Ruth over here. Hope everybody's having a great week. That's right. All right, well, you got me on audio? All right, so he needs a mic swap over here. We got a little technical difficulties, but what's going on, everybody? I'm over here. We're back in the land of the patriotic place, and there's no place like this. I hope everyone's having a good week. A lot of news to get into today. We got 2 U.S. Army soldiers that have been arrested for trading secrets to China. So they've been arrested. Kash Patel made the announcement, and these people were given missile details and all types of stuff. That's pretty crazy. How we doing? You back?
I don't know. Am I back?
Yeah, he's back. I hear you.
We are at the America First Warehouse, the most patriotic venue in all the land. Know your enemy!
Yeah. So these 2 soldiers arrested. I think there's treason charges pending.
Oh, I saw that. The Chinese soldiers, yeah. I knew that was coming. We were kind of hoping for some,
A little something more drastic.
We kind of knew that those arrests were coming, but we wanted to see some real American traders being arrested.
Yeah.
Not just
we know we have the plants here from China and they're,
Yeah, we knew that we had Chinese spies. The border's been wide open for 4 years. So we knew that the Chinese spies were coming in by the droves. So that was no surprise. We wanted to see politicians that sold us out and auto-signed documents, because we know that none of the documents in the past 4 years were signed by the president himself. They were signed by the deep state.
Yep. A lot of missing signatures going on over here. So I contacted the Library of Congress, and I was trying to file or submit a FOIA request for the oath of office for all of Joe Biden's cabinet. And what the lady told me on the phone was that they don't issue FOIA requests for those types of documents because they're held under wraps they're sealed.
30 years.
For 30 years. 30 years. So I'm like, wait a second. So you're going to tell me if there's an illegitimate president and the cabinet is running a criminal enterprise and subverted our elections, and there's criminals, we can't do anything about it for 30 years to find out if they signed an oath of office or not? She's like, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry.
Yeah, so these
blew my mind.
These rules were set up to hide crimes from us, the public.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we got more transparency when we were FOIL requesting the red light camera data, and that's how we found out that the cameras weren't signed and stamped by professional engineers.
Yep.
Because
Crazy.
they had more transparency than the federal government, apparently.
Yeah, that's what we need. On another note, George Santos has been spotted. I got a video of him. Somebody took a video. They saw him, and I think it was in Times Square. Let's check it out.
This guy's got audacity to show his face.
Hey, George Santos, eh?
Oh,
hey?
what's up?
How do you like that?
God.
How do you like that, George?
He just caught
Yeah.
the medium
Enjoy, man.
smoothie to the
Enjoy,
chest.
George.
This
Now,
guy-
I just want to mention in George's defense that George voted properly. He was voting conservative. He did not do what the evil powers at B or that B wanted him to do. He voted conservatively consistently.
He stuck with the party lines, but at the end of the day, he did say a lot of lies to get himself into that position. And listen, you're going to vote party lines, hats off to you. But if you're going to lie about your entire background and everything like that, you're no better than a Democrat. I don't care how you vote. That's my opinion.
I mean, it was a blemish on the party, but in that regard, it was definitely a blemish on the party, but he did vote very conservatively. So that in that regard, I'd like to give him that respect. But,
I'm not going to bash him for his party line votes. But
we would like to see Chuck Schumer have happened to him what happened to George Soros, not George Santos, rather, but not George Santos. I mean, he was a stain on our party, but at the same time, I think it would be way better served on Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, 100%. Did you hear about the InfoWars reporter that got murdered?
Yeah, I did.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and you know what? That reminds me of Christopher Sign. If anybody has heard of Christopher Sign or isn't aware of who Christopher Sign is, I would highly recommend looking up Christopher Sign, because Christopher Sign was a top-notch reporter who broke a story regarding Bill Clinton and I believe it was Loretta Lynch, and it was called, I think, Mystery on the Tarmac. And his
that
name
was with that meeting.
Yeah, it was a meeting that took place between Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch during the time that Hillary Clinton was under investigation. I believe it was for Benghazi.
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend looking up Christopher Sign. I want to keep his name alive because Christopher Sign was a top-notch reporter and a great family man. And, again, another one of the Clinton chronicles of people that were murdered who did wrong by the Clinton family.
Yeah, yeah. They have so many bodies attached to their names that you can't even count anymore. It's well over the hundreds.
Yeah.
Into the hundreds.
Insanity. So, yeah, Christopher Sign, if anybody has an opportunity to look that up. Also, much respect to the reporter from InfoWars who was murdered. Jamie.
His name was Jamie White.
Jamie White. So Alex Jones reporter Jamie White murdered, and hopefully we find out some more details on that. They find the perpetrator.
Yeah, it happened outside his complex, right by his vehicle, and they said that they don't have any suspects or there's no clues or tips right now. But so we're just sitting to wait for some.
When that happens, they have no clues, no suspects. That leads everyone to believe it was done by the deep state.
Yeah.
Because usually when it's some kind of local level crime, they find out who did it. And they do it, whether it be through ballistics, DNA, fingerprints, or something. But when it's done by the deep state, it seems they never have a clue.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, remember Brandy Vaughn?
Yep.
Brandy Vaughn was a whistleblower who used to work, I believe,
died.
for Merck, I think she worked for. And she was a whistleblower, and she said a million times. There's documentaries on her death. And all the people that are murdered by the deep state or by, like, Boeing or pharmaceutical companies, they never have a clue on how they die.
It's a big mystery.
Yeah. But when it's a lower level, localized crime, they find out who did it, and it's not done by a professional covering their tracks.
Yeah, you can tell.
So
what else we got? We got South Carolina and North Carolina burning to the ground, right? We had these crazy fires going on in both states, and it just so happens every time there's one of these wildfires. Do we have a clip over there? Or a graphic or something we could put on screen for the wildfires? If not, it's all right. So these things have been burning like crazy, and it just so happens everywhere that they have these wildfires pop up, you have a smart cities initiative that money went out to these certain towns and jurisdictions, and it just so happens they all light on fire. So it's pretty crazy. I mean,
I talked to one of my friends. Her name is Gina. I talked to her yesterday, and she said the fire originated right across the street from her job, and a lady was locked up. So apparently they did find a perpetrator of one of the fires in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach area, and I guess she's going to be facing the trial, and she's going to face justice.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that wasn't like from direct energy weaponry. I think
it was arsons.
I don't know that she intended for it to happen. I think she was burning during a no-burn time.
Was that the s'mores thing, or was that was?
Oh, I'm not sure.
That was out east. They came up with something about
out
it. Somebody was
I
making
keep
s'mores.
hearing that I think that's just a diversion.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the s'mores thing is stupid.
But out east too, East Hampton also took smart money.
Was
for
it
the
East
contract.
Hampton or
Yeah,
Southampton?
East
Because I
Hampton.
think the fires were in West Hampton.
Yeah, I'm not sure what location, but in the Hamptons, out east, they took the contracts to sign on to these smart cities initiatives and to start rebuilding, and so it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. But so we have I found a patent today for graphene oxide
Yeah.
inside the chemtrails.
Inside the chemtrails.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's
Let's
lithium
put
too.
that on screen. I got I think it's number 4, graphene nanoparticles patent. There we go. Blow that up nice and big so people could see it. So if you're looking for this document, this is what you're going to type in the search engine, and there's a U.S. patent for it. It's all 100% there, right? 3D graphene oxide nanoparticles for cloud seeding patent. So
Take a photo of the screen right now.
doesn't get any clearer
For all the
than that.
non-believers that this is happening to us, it's not just graphene oxide. That's just one of the components that they're spraying with us in these chemtrails. Another one is lithium to keep people lethargic and apathetic, and that way they could just manipulate and do whatever they want to us.
Yep. And if you look at the publishing date on that, it's from 2022. So that's like halfway into COVID, where they had all that mess going on. So congratulations, you're spraying us with toxic chemicals. So hopefully Trump will deal with that, man. I don't know if it's the Air Force, because I've seen Air Force planes outfitted with the sprayers, or there's a fleet of private companies that are doing this. But whatever it is, we need to get down to the bottom of it, because there's enough already.
It was happening today. I
Yeah.
noticed it was happening today.
Yeah, they haven't stopped. They haven't stopped yet.
Let me
So-
tell you, they don't do that in Mexico. I have a house in Mexico. They don't do it there.
Now you go to some of these other states that are more further down south, and they're not spraying.
Really?
Yeah, it's not in all the states.
I think they're doing it in the
spraying.
most populated areas, which leads
Certain
me to
states.
believe that it's a eugenics program in regards to depopulation agenda.
Yeah, 100%. And the graphene, if you go there and you look at the doctors that play with the stuff in the lab and zap it with frequencies, it's self-assembling. So these you see these things, they start to clump together and then form lines, and then they're like two antennas on an ant feeling around, and then they just pull in the next piece and the next piece, and it just grows into a chain. It's wild to look. It's straight up science fiction, it looks like, but it's not. And it's crazy.
That
So-
is crazy.
Yeah. So there was more wildfires in the Hamptons, and they're suspecting arson for this one. And whether they're going to fulfill those contracts or not, and start up with these smart cities, we'll see. Time will tell. But
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about smart cities out east in either West Hampton or East Hampton or Southampton, but I'm sure if you look into it, you'll be able to find out.
Yeah, 100%. Just put in Smart Cities Initiative, type in your city, and it will let you know if that you're on the map or not. So you have 2 different maps. You have the Agenda 3030 document, where you have a book about this thick, and they have the maps and the layouts all in there. And then you also have Agenda 21, Sustainable Development, and that goes into basically re-outfitting everything in society, digitizing all the economies, the stores, which goes into automated services, right? So what they're doing with all these huge warehouses, Amazon especially, is they're getting rid of all the workers and making it fully autonomous to where the robots are just working the factory, and there's like maybe one guy there in case something goes wrong with the computers. But yeah, that's what they're doing all across the country, and it's like the Great Reset that Klaus Schwab put out. They never stopped. They keep going. And the 4th Industrial Revolution, which is, you have Agenda 21, you have the vaccine passports, all this stuff was in Crimson Contagion, and the Rockefeller document they put out with these pandemic simulations. Now, this was all supposed to take place years ago. They're about 12 years off of their plans with this whole New World Order and the digital enslavement grid. And, we kicked the can pretty far down the road to where they can't even see it. So it's good. But we have to stay vigilant. We have to stay informed on exactly what's going on with this stuff, because they're still going full speed ahead, right? If you look up at every single not traffic light, but the street lights that they put
Facial
in,
recognition cameras.
every single one of those street lights has Wi-Fi connectivity. It's got a little sensor at the top, and these things, so more or less, that you could change the frequency of the colors of these things. Now, there was a bunch of videos circulating around with these streetlights going into a blacklight color. It was like a really bright blue purple. And when you take that and you pin it with the luciferase technology that Bill Gates was working on with the microneedle array systems, they're taking the needle vaccines and they're going to put them into something like a Band-Aid instead. So you don't have to get injected, but they have these microneedles inside the Band-Aid. You wear the patch for like a day and it seeps into your bloodstream. Those are the new vaccines. And some of the dyes that they were going to use to make sure that they could track these things is luciferase ink. It's a dye that glows in the dark. So if you have a special lit light, you could see underneath the skin if somebody is marked or not. That was the plan.
To limit your travel, basically.
Yeah. So I was reading something today where if this system, were to be in place, we would get points. We would be on a point cash system to where they incentivize dominant, submissive behavior.
Yeah.
Where if you don't talk bad about the government, you get extra money at the end of the day.
It adds to your social credit score.
So, that's where they're at with that. And
there needs to be some kind of politician that stands up to it and talks about it.
Yeah, I don't understand why we're not charging the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, the rest of their little groups, subgroups that they set up. Why aren't they being charged with, crimes against humanity and subverting our country?
I agree.
Because all these things need to be broken up. Because what are you doing? They're like piranhas when it comes to our freedom. They just want to chew us up and devour us, and that's it.
Right now is a period in time where you can actually still stand for your freedom. And we saw it when I stood up for the red light against the red light cameras. But if nobody stands, none of our politicians are taking a stance against any of this stuff. They don't even talk about it and act like they know anything about it.
No, because they're neutered. They're neutered. Most of the politicians took money from somebody, right? Or they're in a contract with some organization where they're only allowed to talk about specific things. And when you start walking down that road, you might as well call yourself not a man anymore. Because let me tell you something. I don't care what contract gets put in front of me. I don't care how much money is on the table. I am not changing my core values, and I'm not changing my determination for anybody, right? If I feel like I want to say something, I'm going to say it. If you feel like you're going to say something, you're going to say it. And all these people that walk around, you might be getting a seven-figure check, but you're neutered. You got no nuts. And you can't talk. You can't speak freely. You can't get anything off your chest with passion because you're sitting there in a monotone state because your contract told you to do so. And that's not going to happen here. That's not what you're going to get from us. So make sure you share these feeds out. Get them out to everybody. Very important stuff going on. So, yeah, man.
Absolutely. We need politicians that are going to talk about what's going on.
Yep. And, like the migration, right? Did you hear with the migration? Now we're starting to get reverse migration where it's going backwards. So it's pretty crazy. So I put together a little tape over here. I found a Democrat campaign called Walk Back, and I think it's pretty good. Let's play that. Starring the asylum seekers. They're all moonwalking backwards, going back to where they came from. Oh, yeah. Wait for the end.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
Well, he's wrong. He's going back to Haiti.
I'm not going back to Haiti. You're definitely going back to Haiti. Shout out to Tom Holman, man. We love you, man. Big friend of the America First Warehouse over here. And, yeah, man.
So yeah, back to the automated services increasing.
Yeah, that's all the warehouses that we were talking about with the Amazon and anybody that's got a huge facility.
It's the new revolution. Remember we were talking about it. Yep. It's on its way here.
Yeah,
they're on their way here.
They already put out the foundations for it. They just have to build it. I mean, it's already there. It's in place, but it's just they have to get it up and running.
And what we're talking about is robots replacing humans.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to, my daughter's like, I want to go to McDonald's. I'm like, hell no, we're not going to McDonald's. She's like, I want to go to McDonald's. I'm like, all right, whatever. So we go over there, and there was one person behind the counter, right, and 3 audited machines, autonomous machines, where you have to go up and put in your own order and whatever. So I told the lady, I said, I'm not doing that. I said, you're going to take my order. She's like, I'm not allowed to take your order. I said, what do you mean you're not allowed to take my order? She goes, you have to use the machines. I said, so what are you doing here? She's like, I'm here in case the machines go down.
Wow. That happened to me at Panera the other day. I went to Panera, And same thing. There was 3 machines taking orders.
Yeah.
So there was a study that showed how the ventilators killed people during COVID.
Oh yeah, yeah. Pull that one up. I got check this out. You can cross-reference this, Google it, whatever you want to do. There's a new study out there that proves that the ventilators were taking out people inside the hospitals. And like we've been saying since day one, this was a mass murder event that took place, a eugenics operation by the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, the CCP, and the rest of these criminal fraud doctors that call themselves virologists and, you know, pretend to be our saviors. Remember all those signs? Oh, our heroes, our heroes. What were the heroes doing in the midst of all the COVID? Remember? Dance routines. Dancing around, right? They had little mock bodies, dancing with them. If you have that much time, right, and there's that much death, how are you making videos?
Right.
If you're packing
It boggled my mind.
tractor trailers.
They have these signs, heroes work here.
Yeah.
How are they a hero?
Nope.
People are dying, and you're calling them heroes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was disgusting. And I hope we shed the light on that because that was the most ridiculous thing I ever experienced in my life. People were actually complying with all this nonsense, and that's what pissed me off the most. Like, I'm watching people, grown people, you look intelligent, you look smart, and you're following the arrows down the aisle. And then if I walk down the aisle the opposite way, which I did all the time, they would bug out and freak out and run out of the aisle and like, yo, what is going on?
And part of that mass murder was committed by Andrew Cuomo, who's considering running for mayor.
That guy better step nowhere near that position because if the people don't stand up and oppose him, you guys are cowards. You have to stand up. This guy murdered everyone's grandparents. Tens of thousands of elderly people were murdered on purpose by sending sick patients from the hospitals
Back to the
directly
nursing
into the
homes.
nursing homes. I have the paperwork that he signed off on to make that happen, and there was the discharge directives from Andrew Cuomo, his signatures.
And
at
the
bottom.
hospitals weren't full.
Yeah, the hospitals weren't full. There was a hashtag that went out called Fill My Hospital on YouTube, and it was blowing up like crazy early 2020. As soon as it started gaining tractions where these people were like, look, this is the emergency room, empty. Look at all the ambulance parked in the bay. There's like 7 ambulances here. No one's on calls. No one's going nowhere. And then the dance videos started coming out. So we have to expose the light. And, yo, listen, man, if you were a doctor and you participated in this through a non-disclosure agreement and you felt like your hands were tied, now is the time to come out as a whistleblower. Because if you don't, you're going to be wrapped up in this whole thing for not saying anything. And the Nuremberg Code does not discriminate. So get it right, man. Get it right. You know?
Say no to Cuomo.
Yeah. And then what else we got? Kathy Hochul. Speaking of Kathy Hochul.
Oh, she fired the corrections officers.
Fired hundreds of corrections officers. I think it was in the thousands, actually. Fired all of them for striking, right? And then put in the National Guard to take their place, to watch over the inmates. And they have zero training as corrections officers. So they went in there, and the reports are, they're not used to being around criminals like that. So, they're a little intimidated walking in there. So they're getting teased by the inmates, shit thrown on them, and, not being treated the way they should. And these are our National Guardsmen that Kathy Hochul is using as pawns just to take the place of these officers that went on strike. And, enough is enough. Get Kathy Hochul out of there. Get AOC out of there. Get my girl Tina. Tina needs to be in there immediately.
It seems
Tina
like the current
Forney?
administration
Oh my
in New York
God,
is
bro.
quick. New York administration, the current administration is quick to side against law enforcement.
Yeah. Well,
So I think that they probably had good reason to strike. I don't know, but we should look into that.
yeah, 100%.
Um,
Did you hear about the Maine Supreme Court? So the Supreme Court in Maine, there was a father there.
oh, they
that
injected.
they injected the COVID shot into his daughter, and without his consent whatsoever. Didn't know anything. This group just showed up at the school, injected his daughter, and she came home and was like, "Yeah, I got a vaccine today." And he took them to court, went to sue them. They worked their way all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the judge tossed out the case on him.
Wow.
Yeah, tossed out the case. Like, yeah, you got no case. So now that sets the precedent for all
Them
these
to
other
vaccinate
cases
all of our kids
Yep.
without our permission.
without parental consent, and that's already in Proposition 1 that passed here in New York State, where they don't need parental consent to gender swap.
Yeah,
to
that's
do
what
any of that
Letitia
stuff.
James is
And,
all about.
And he pulled up the page right there. That's the court documents. So if you want to go check out the court documents, because I like to provide receipts, because a lot of people like to go, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, or whatever.
That sets a precedent.
It's a conspiracy. Yeah, all right. I bring the receipts to slap them in your face, and you can't say nothing anymore. So go find that court case, go read it, go study it, and go help that guy out by showing support and, raising the alarm wherever the hell you are about that this took place, and now the Supreme Court approved it in Maine. So, it's something we got to watch out for. Yeah, man. So what's new with you and your week? I'm over here blasting away.
Just the basics. Par for the course week in the life of the Red Light Robin Hood.
Yeah. So I got we got some shows coming up. Actually, we got Paulie's Patriots. We got a comedy show coming up here at the America First Warehouse, March 13th, and it's going to be epic. We got a really big lineup of comedians that's going to be here. It's $20 online, $25 at the door to get in. You can go to the AmericaFirstWarehouse.com to reserve your tickets and make sure you show up. It's a night you're not going to want to miss.
We also have a comedy night coming up. You want to go through it?
We got Chadwick Moore, author of Tucker, the biography.
It's in like 2 days, right?
Yeah. This is a book signing. This is
Oh.
Yeah. So we got a book signing for the guy that authored the book with Tucker Carlson's biography. He's going to be here Saturday, March 15th at 7 p.m. You can find the details on the AmericaFirstWarehouse.com, as well as other events we're going to be having coming up in the near future. And
let me check out some of these comedians.
Oh,
This
yeah.
was what,
It's a good
Thursday
lineup.
night?
Yeah, it's a good lineup.
Thursday night, Chris Roach, Bill Gayer, John Butera, Stevie GB,
Oh, man, Stevie G.
Tugboat Manny. Tugboat Manny's a champion. Terry McNeely, he's hysterical. I love Terry and Manny. Those guys are great. Mike Keegan, Ellen Karras, Steve Rocco. So this is some lineup they got coming up over
it's going to
here.
be good.
Doors open at 7:30. This is this Thursday night, huh?
Yeah.
Get your tickets online at www.theamericafirstwarehouse.
That's it, man.
So, yeah, this is a crazy lineup. So I would definitely try and make that show if you can.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be good.
I know Tugboat Manny, you may need to bring diapers because you might need diapers. And same thing with Terry. John Butera, usually he has a whole slew of good comedians, so it should be a good time. So we have a special guest.
Yeah, so we got somebody special today. His name is Joe Biggs. He is a veteran. He was a sergeant in the Army. Really good dude. Big patriot. He used to be on InfoWars all the time. I'm sure you know his face. You know his name. And, we couldn't be happier to have him here.
Much respect.
We're going to get an update about what's going on, about his time away, because he got caught up in this whole January 6th thing. He was another victim of
He did a tremendous amount of time.
and stuck in the gulags, and it's, so.
Terrible.
Get him on.
Let's hear about the torture. Joe, welcome to Know Your Enemies podcast, and thank you for coming on the show. You're welcome.
No problem, man. So, you just got out a little while ago. You were pardoned by Trump, and I know it must feel really good to be home. They were trying to really stick you with a large amount of time for just being a patriot and standing up for your beliefs. So let us know a little bit about your experience going through, and what do you got?
And
going
how
on
much?
now?
What kind of toll did it take on your family? Joe, I'm just being told that we're having technical difficulties with the audio. I may need you to run through that again. I'm terribly sorry about that. Um, I I don't know. I think they still don't have audio on your end.
Yes, the production.
Yeah, it's in the back. They're working on it diligently. So we just want to give you a special thanks for doing that time on behalf of our freedom.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they're just working out the kinks with the audio, and then let me know when you're good, guys. So, yeah, so going good, man.
Yeah, I mean, mayhem in the back, but sorry about the technical difficulties here. We were not anticipating this.
It's all good. Yeah.
So what are you doing now? You can't hear. Do you have audio now? Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. So
We'll come back to that,
and we're gonna come back to Joe in
interview.
a second. And yeah, so the world is an amazing place, right? We got all this stuff going on, and the Patriots are in control. Couldn't be happier.
Tune into Alex Jones, Infowars.
Yeah, make sure you tune into Alex Jones. He's got band.video, Infowars.com. All right.
Yeah, check 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep, we're good.
Awesome.
I think we got some audio here.
So, Joe, sorry for that interruption and delay. Can you tell us the pain that your family endured and some of the loss that you experienced due to the incarceration?
Yeah, so like I said, they wanted 36 years. I got 17. I did 4 years in prison, 2 years of that in solitary confinement. When you're in prison and you mess up, they throw you in the hole or the shoe. For me, I didn't get that treatment. I got thrown into a closet and left there for, days or weeks on end and treated like an animal. They did everything they could to break me, and they didn't break me.
They wanted
as
you to
far
rat
as
out
like
President Trump, right? They wanted you to sign docs against our president. Am I correct?
They wanted me to break because I think they knew that I was one of the strong ones, and if they could get me to break, then they could probably get their house of cards to fall down. And I knew that, so I held on as hard as I could. But I've lost a lot mentally from that. It's hard to go years being treated like an animal, thrown into a hole, and fed crap. So it's I'm struggling, trying to deal with all this. And, I didn't get a pardon. I only got my sentence commuted. So I can't go to the VA. I lost all my military benefits. So I tried to go to the VA to seek mental health help, and they kicked me out and threatened to call the police on me. So, that had a whole other, effect on me mentally right there you serve your country honorably. You go overseas, you fight in wars and lose friends and make it home. And then they turn their back on you. So, for me, there hasn't been any good news yet. It's been a crappy experience. I lost my house, I lost everything, and my mother almost lost her job numerous times over this. The VA extorted my mother from thousands of dollars while I was gone. They court-martialed me while I was in solitary confinement, unable to defend myself, and took all my rights from me. The IRS extorted my mother for tens of thousands of dollars every year while I was gone. So it's had a very big toll on me and my family. My daughter, for the first 2 years, wouldn't leave anywhere, wouldn't go anywhere without a framed photo of me with her. She slept with it because that was her only access to her father. So, the scars, and the ramifications of January 6th run very deep in my family. So, I'm just trying to get my life back. I'm trying to be able to stand on my own 2 feet to provide for my daughter and to not be a burden on my mother. And it's just been difficult. It's fun to see all these people, they're elected, they're taking selfies and going to celebrity events, but I want to see action. I want to see people, at the FBI do the right thing that are up there now, and these charges should have never been brought against us. I lost everything because of a Nancy Pelosi lie, and I'm waiting on, Trump and Patel and Bondi and these others to right some serious wrongs, and I'm losing patience. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
I can imagine. I'd love to see your benefits restored at the VA as well.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a shame you had to go through all that.
It's terrible.
And it's heartbreaking to hear what your daughter had to go through. I have a daughter. She's 9, and that's like one of the hardest things is being away from your children. It's like your heart and soul as a man is your kids. That's where the sole protectors of our family. And when something like that happens, it's irreplaceable time that you don't get back, and something has to be done to compensate for the wrongs that were done to you and a lot of the other people that were wrapped up in this charade of a tyrannical government. It's something's got to be done.
So why was your sentence commuted and not expunged, or what, your charges?
I have no idea. I mean, the only person that can answer that is President Trump. I mean, if he's the one even making the decision, really, this is before they hired their pardon czar or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know if it's Bondi or someone getting in his ear trying to play politics, but he won. He's on a second term. He shouldn't have to worry about playing politics. He needs to do the right thing and restore the rights to myself and Zachary Rill and Dominic Pizzola and Stuart Rhodes. There's a handful of us that got screwed over, and we were nonviolent. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't steal anything. I didn't break anything. But there were people who literally got into fights with police. And I'm not saying that there was anything crazy about that. I mean, the police provoked the violence that day. I saw it happen firsthand. But still, though, there were people with charges of violence against police that got pardons. And I literally just walked through an open door with 2 hot Italian chicks, took a piss, and the cop took me there. He guided me there. I asked him if he could show me the bathroom, and I flushed the toilet. I didn't pee on the seat, and I washed my hands. Maybe if I would have peed on the seat and not washed my hands and punched the cop on the way out, I would have been taken care of. But, I did the right thing throughout that whole ordeal, and some reason I'm getting screwed over.
That's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. I think at some point Trump needs to call everybody into the room that was affected, that he pardoned or commuted, and sit down and have conversations with them and then readjust what he's going to do. He needs to completely throw out these cases and make sure that whoever is in charge, district attorneys, attorney generals, whatever, that is corrupted in these cases need to be tossed out, and these things need to be wiped completely, because there's no other way. It doesn't make any sense, like you said.
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening to all kinds of people. They're getting their stuff pardoned, and then they're getting all their stuff expunged and wiped away like it never happened. And there's like 10 or 12 of us still sitting here struggling. And we can't get help. It's not like we can struggle and then go seek help, because if we go there, then they're going to kick us out and call the cops on us. So, I can't. I'm afraid if I drive down the road and get pulled over, they're going to shoot and kill me. Because when a cop scans my license plate and the record comes up, it's going to say, imminent threat, imminent danger, because it's going to say that I'm a domestic terrorist. And so, they're going to pull a gun on me, and me, I don't like having a gun pulled on me. So, it's just every day is, So
you walked in, you asked where the bathroom was. They escorted you to the bathroom.
It's all on film.
It. Pardon me?
It's all on film too.
Yeah, and the cameras that are all over the Capitol, it shows you every single nook and cranny of every angle, maybe except for
There's not one thing that happened in that trial that I was like, oh my God, they got us. There was nothing. It was just like, oh my God, are we ever going to talk about January 6th? Are we ever going to talk about January 6th? Hey, Dominic, Ethan, Enrique, are we ever going to talk about January 6th? Why are we talking about random things that happened years ago that have nothing to do with this? Because the judge said this has nothing to do with the Proud Boys. It only has to do with the 5 of us.
Yeah.
But yet in the entire trial, we never talked about the 5 of us. We talked about random things that happened during George Floyd protests and stuff like that. And they used random street fights between the Proud Boys and BLM or Antifa when they were defending themselves against these clowns. And then they just show the footage when someone did the FA, and then we FO'd them. You know, they found out. You know, they come up to us, they touch us, and we knock them out. They show that video and they go, "Oh, look at this white guy hit this person right here. That's a racist."
Yeah.
And it's just like, really? Like, that's what you're going to show? I thought we were going to talk about January 6th. Well, you couldn't talk about January 6th because there was nothing there to talk about. So let's just piss off the jury that's 90% black and make them hate us because they think we're a bunch of white supremacists. That way they throw us under the prison. And that's what they did.
That's terrible. Back to the 2 hot Italian chicks. Are you still in contact with them?
Of course.
Nice. That's music to my ears. I want to shout out my hot Italian chick, Lisa. Shout out to you, Lisa. All right. So back to I'm proud that I'm happy for you that you're still in contact with those 2 hot Italian chicks. That's a blessing that they stayed by your side. And what do you think that we could do to bring awareness to your situation so that it gets rectified?
Yeah, do you have any like a GoFundMe or anything set up to help you out with legal fees or expenses or anything
Yeah.
like that?
I got a freejoebiggs.com. So if you go to www.freejoebiggs.com, it'll give you kind of a backstory on my situation. It'll also have a donate button on there. It'll take you to a Give, Send, Go. And then, that's one way to help. You know, I obviously need money for things like that. But my biggest thing is just hoping that someone who's in a position of power sees one of these interviews and decides to go, all right, maybe we should do something about this. Maybe, you know, this slipped under us and we messed up.
Yeah.
Because I keep meeting people who say that they know somebody in the Trump administration. And then when it comes time to help us, they just turn their back on us and pretend like they don't know who we are. So, you know.
Maybe Lee Zeldin. Have you tried Lee Zeldin?
I don't know who that is.
Lee Zeldin was a congressman here by us, and he was a patriot. Now he's in charge. I think he's chairman.
He's the head of the EPA.
Yeah, he's the chairman of the EPA, and I believe that he's pretty close with President Trump. Maybe he can put a word in for you.
Yeah, we'll try to get a word out to somebody that can help you with your case because we have a lot of connections over here, and we're not going to turn our back. We're not going to give up, and we're not going to forget about you. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, what happened to you is absolutely terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. It's a stain. What our judicial system does to innocent people is horrible, and God willing, we can get it rectified. There's no reason that you should have to be, serving your country, discharged honorably, and then have your rights, your veterans' benefits taken away from you. Just terrible.
Yeah, in D.C. when I was in Alexandria at the adult detention center there, they kept the Lockerbie bomber, the guy from the 70s or 80s that blew up the plane over Lockerbie, Scotland, the Pan Am flight that killed all the people there. Mm-hmm. They kept him away from me because I was a danger to him, because I'm a terrorist. He wasn't a terrorist. He was just a guy who had a bad day and decided to blow up a plane. So, just a bad day. But, when I would come around, they would pull him aside and be like, hey, sir, you need to step back. We've got to bring this guy through and get him secure before we're allowed to bring you on the bus because he's a danger, So, that's just to show you, what it was like under Biden. When I was back there in solitary confinement, I was with the Lockerbie bomber. I was with a serial killer, 2 MS-13 hitman, a child molester, and a serial rapist. And then, I'm back there for, basically like trespassing. Not even trespassing, because
that's
I
what
was
saying
asked to come up there.
You guys did nothing in compared to what I did in my protest against the red light cameras, and yet you guys were hammered and kidnapped. And when they picked you up, did they use any flash grenades or anything on your family?
No. So I got a heads up. A friend of mine saw my face on TV, and it popped up as one of the most wanted on the FBI. So I knew then and there that I had time to react. So I called the local FBI field office and negotiated a turn-in so that wouldn't happen.
Oh, that's a blessing, at least.
That's good.
But yeah, what's going on to this day? The continuation of your rights and your freedoms being taken from you over going to the bathroom in the Capitol is terrible. I don't see how it's anything more than a misdemeanor trespass.
Yeah, there's a reason that the feds don't like to televise their trials, because everybody would see just how much of a sham that it is. I want to have a mock trial that's televised. I want to go back and present the world the evidence that we presented at trial, and I want people to see what the prosecution brought up, and I want everyone to just laugh like we did, because every day we were in there laughing because it was such a joke. It'd be like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, that's what we're talking about? We're talking about Proud Boy challenge coins. We're talking about Proud Boy t-shirts. Like, this is evidence of an insurrection, which nobody was ever charged with. No one was ever charged with insurrection. There was nothing like that at all. So that's all a lie. No 5 police were killed that day. We got them to admit that during the trial because they couldn't lie about that under oath. But there were 5 protesters killed that day. So that whole day was a setup. Nancy Pelosi lied, people died, and I lost my life.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do everything.
4
we can
years you
to
lost, right?
support
4
you, bro.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of my sanity.
I'm sure you lost your sanity. You were describing what it's like when in the hole, and I think that you meant it. You said it was a small, it was a shoebox. You described it as.
Well, no. So like I would be in solitary confinement, but let's say if I wasn't compliant to what a cop wanted me to do, like to act like whatever, just to be obedient and bow down to them, they would throw me not in the shoe like everyone else would get thrown into, which is the hole. I would get thrown into a closet, like a concrete room. It's a small like broom closet, and I would just be left in there, and they would throw food in there at me and treat me like an animal.
Oh man.
And this went on for 4 years.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, we're gonna get you some support. We're gonna be in contact, and you can give us updates. And I appreciate you coming on the show. We're running out of time. But
Yeah, I apologize for.
yeah,
I apologize for what the judicial system did to you. You should have been given justice, and like I said, that should have been like you said, a trespassing charge.
yeah, at most.
At most, you were
Yeah.
basically invited in and escorted to the bathroom. I don't understand it.
Well,
But
make sure
we knew that
everybody.
this was happening.
Yeah, make sure everybody goes and follows Joe Biggs. Help him out. Show him support. He's a great guy, patriot, and he just went through the ringer. Deserved none of it, and we're gonna be there for you, brother.
Thank you for your service to this country, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for your service, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it for having me on.
You're
All
welcome.
right, no problem. I'll be in touch, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Take care, Joe.
Have a good one.
You too.
You too.
So, do we have Gary on the next? Oh, what a meatball. So Gary was supposed to be our second guest. I don't know where the hell he is. I'm going to call this guy. I'm going to call him right on the show right now because he's slacking. Let's see what the excuses are. Let's see.
Hey, going in right now.
All right. Hurry up. We're waiting on you.
Nice.
All right, bye.
Yeah, I'm disturbed by the interview we just had. It's terrible.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Yeah, and there's
4
so
years.
many people with not the same stories, but similar stories. All right. So what's up? Just want to say a big hello to everybody out there watching. We love you guys. Make sure you share the videos, get them out. We're out here on the front lines, bringing people to the table that matter. I'm about to bring in my buddy Gary McBride. He is our correspondent down in Texas, and he's got a lot of updates on J6 and what's going on down there. What's up, Gary?
How's it going, Gary?
What's up, brother? How are you guys doing, man?
Doing good.
Champion.
Doing good. I like your shirt.
Yeah, well, I got to represent the place, bro.
Yeah, man.
No doubt. So how's it going down in Texas, man? You went down there a couple weeks ago. You're getting situated. What do we got for updates?
Well, yeah, getting situated. Got me a redneck sunburn already. Kind of hurting a little bit, but
Nice.
everything's going good. I tell you what, next time you bring me on, make sure I'm before somebody like Joe Biggs. Because I tell you what, man, I can't compete with that. Everything he said was the God honest truth. Good old boy. And my God, man, that's hard to compete against.
Yeah, that hurt my
Yeah.
heart hearing his story.
Yeah, man.
And there's many more like it. There's I don't want to say they're the same, but there are so many like that.
yeah,
There truly
yeah.
are. You know, it sucks for them.
It does. It does. I hope one day his situation is compensated for, because
Well,
what
it
he went
better
through was
be.
hell.
Yeah, it has to be.
Well, that's that's our next fight. You know, the fighting for the against the judicial system, trying to change that, and helping get these lives back together again. You know, it's been a long 4 years, and that's what we have to do. We've got to support these people.
Yeah,
and get them back
100%.
on their feet and their families back together if we can.
Yeah,
If they want their families back together. I don't want my family back together.
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
my kids back, but not my wife.
Yeah, I mean that's why I feel like I take it personal with all these people's stories because I was there. I mean, I wasn't inside the Capitol, but I was there documenting the event, and I stood shoulder to shoulder with majority of the people that were rounded up and arrested, and so when I heard that happen, the entire time I was just waiting for a knock on my door, like, hey, knock, knock, hey man, you got a case. Like, for what?
So let me ask you this: since you're waiting for that knock on the door, how paranoid were you waiting that whole damn time?
For the first year, I was pretty paranoid. If I heard anything going on outside my house, I'd wake up in the middle of the night, like, what the hell is that? But yeah, for the first.
So your
year,
story's the same as many others that never were arrested. You know, you had to put up with that shit when you
Yeah.
lay your head down at night. You
Yep.
know, you had to think about that and
Yeah.
wondering if it's my time to get flashbangs and 20 officers out there with
Yeah,
names
I-
on you.
Yeah, I had to have a conversation with my daughter. She was probably around 6, 7 at the time. But I told her, I said, listen, that there might be a time where I'm not going to be around. And if it does happen, I just want you to know that I love you and that I'm not a bad
that's
person,
sucks.
regardless of what the news might say. I'm not a bad person. You know me better than anybody. And, I had to have that conversation with her because I just didn't want that day to come and then I'm just gone. And,
Dude, that sucks that you even have to have that conversation because you saw what was going on with the fake media. You know what I mean? Not fake media, because that's exactly what was happening. And that sucks that you had to have that conversation with your daughter just to prepare her for it.
yeah.
And that would kill me to tell my kids.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta protect her emotions, so I figured that was the best thing to do, as aside from letting her mother explain it, which will twist things up. But
Yeah, you're a good dad, brother.
yeah, thanks,
That's
bro.
what
He
you
is a
got,
good
man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. I
That's
feel like I'm in there right now.
oh man, I
I
miss
wish
you,
I
bro.
was in there right now.
I know.
You guys got a Montauk? There's no Montauk here.
Not me. I'm drinking water.
It's
I
right.
already-
It's
Nah.
disguised. It's in its costume right now.
Mine too.
Yep. So, what's the updates down there? Have you spoke to Nicole and Guy? How they doing?
Well, you know that I drove back from DC with Nicole and Guy, and we got here on March 2nd. If you look up March 2nd about Texas, you understand how important that was.
Okay.
So that's going to make you look it up.
Yeah.
So no, it's all good. They were here for a couple days. I was here for a day. Went and stayed somewhere for a few days, just to kind of get my mind wrapped around what I'm fixing to do here. And this is just the start for me. This is the first show that I've done since I've been in Texas, and we have a lot more shows prepared. Where I'm at right now is the J6 Road Home here in Lukenbach, Texas.
So March 2nd's Texas Independence Day, huh?
You damn right, brother. That's the day we showed up.
Nice.
Me, Nicole, and Guy Reffett.
That's
You know,
awesome.
yeah. You know, when we pulled in from Shreveport, Louisiana, we pulled over at the Welcome Center, had our pictures taken in front of the old Welcome Texas sign, and it's funny. And I'm not going to get choked up here because I don't do that. But, as I got closer to Texas, I felt more and more like I'm at home because this is my home.
You felt the love?
Felt the love, man. I felt such a weight off my shoulders. And that weight's not off my shoulders yet, but it's coming. I'm in a good place. I'm at the J6 Road Home. I want everybody to understand what this place is about, the j6roadhome.com if you go to it. This is a place that provides, it's a place, okay, so let me start. They're building tiny homes. They're building 5 of them. There's 2 done. I was digging ditches yesterday to lay a new electrical line and a water line for a new water well to go to these homes. And this place is it's like church, so to speak. It's a place where J6ers can come. You can go online and, if you want to come here or whatever, if there's space, I guess, whatever. But you can come here and you have to be ready to work, which I was prepared to do. That's why I'm sunburned. And but you're surrounded by other J6ers. Now there are guests here, and it's when you get pinned down outside in the pavilion and people ask why I'm here, and I'm like apprehensive of saying J6, but it's okay, because when you walk in, where I'm at right now is called the 1776 Bar.
Nice.
And that's what's on this premises. And when you walk in, you'll see a big old picture of Trump with a assault rifle sitting next to him. They have like bluegrass music, old country music playing here on the weekends. Right across the street is one of the biggest honky tonks in Texas, probably one of the oldest ones that I went to my first night. But it's, and I sat there with Stuart Rhodes the first night I got here, had dinner, went over there. And, like I told Stuart that night, sitting there at the picnic table watching these guys play, I said, this is good for the soul. And for me, it was good for the soul because it brought me back to my family roots, with this type of music, and I know I'm babbling because that's what I do, but it's, I have two homes, one here. Oh, didn't mean to flip you off, but one here.
I'm offended.
And the other one, Ronkonkoma, New York.
That's it, man.
The
You know what I
America
mean?
First Warehouse.
The American First Warehouse, the most patriotic venue in the
Land.
what?
In the land.
And that's why I see it here. This is a place for J6ers, if they want to come or whatever. And the reason I'm here is to get my life back together again, become self-sufficient, get some stability back that I haven't had in a long time, and it feels good. It takes a little bit. I'm still getting used to it, but it feels good. And I see a lot of good things coming from here. Not only for myself, but for Jenny and her husband at this place. And what I love most of all is that I'm here to be able to bring content to y'all.
So that home,
that's it.
please let us know how to find that location where you're at.
J6 Road Home. Just go to j6roadhome.com.
And it's a safe haven for J6ers, right?
Yeah.
And
It's a safe haven and helps them build their lives back. There are rules, which I like. I had to sign off on some stuff about what they expect of me. And if I don't meet those expectations, I'm down the road. So that's, in my life, that's what I need.
Structure.
And I hope others. Structure.
Yep.
You damn right. Structure.
Yep.
I haven't had structure in my life for years, brother.
Well, J6
it's
Road
just-
Road Home or Roadhouse?
Road Home.
J6roadhome.com to the
That's it.
J6ers out there that are contemplating negative thoughts, that maybe need to rebuild their lives, start from scratch. J6roadhome.com.
And just to be around a support
And that's what this
system.
is this is basically a ministry to help these guys rebuild their lives that's been incarcerated for the last 3 or 4 years.
Absolutely.
Because, I sit here and try to think about how that would feel. Just like Joe Biggs, I wish I was taking notes. He was saying everything that I wish I was taking notes. It's what do they do now? You know what I mean? It's
He lost his
it
house.
sucks.
Yeah, terrible. At least he
He
still
lost
has
everything.
the 2 hot Italian chicks.
And I just went to the restaurant and go, I don't think I pissed on the toilet.
Yeah, that was great. I was trying not to laugh, man. I couldn't help it. That was funny. He's
When he said
like
that,
an
I was
undercover
like-
comedian.
Well,
Joe Biggs is
I wasn't
badass,
laughing.
man. I met
felt
Joe Biggs.
horrible
I
for
met
him.
Joe Biggs at CPAC. See,
All right, we're
what Joe
wrapping it-
Biggs
we're
was
wrapping
talking
up in 2
about
minutes.
earlier
Yeah.
about his court case, it was Joe Biggs, Dominic Fazzola, Enrique, Zachary Real. I sent video into their defense. Okay, so when he says that they were laughed at, that's the God honest truth.
Yeah.
They were laughed at.
Yeah.
And that's bullshit. I'm
is
sorry for my
bullshit.
language, but that's BS because they were laughed at. And I sat in that courtroom with Kara Cashinova, Mickey Whithoff, Nicole Reffitt. And when that crap happens, I mean, you have to be there to understand what it's like.
You're being railroaded
it's-
is what's
it's
happening. You're being railroaded.
Out railroaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, railroaded.
I just want to shout out to
Yeah.
the conservative party boss here in Suffolk County for warning me to not go to the January 6th event. I was planning on going to the January 6th event, and the conservative party chairman here in Suffolk County warned me not to go. He said, "Please don't go. I don't want them to make an example out of you." And I guess he had an intuition that there was going to be a
Well, they would have. They made an example out of everybody, so you would have been in the same boat, brother.
yeah, terrible.
You would have been in the same boat. You would have been in the same boat as anybody else.
Yeah.
Just look at all the interviews you do, any J6ers you talk to, and all the crap that they went through.
Yeah.
You would be in the same boat as them.
That's true.
You just continue with your.
Yeah, Gary, we're running out of time. I just wanted to thank you for coming on. Thanks, Joe Biggs. Thank you, God, for allowing us. Thank you, America First Warehouse, for being the most patriotic venue in the land.
Thank you, America
Thank you,
First
my
Warehouse.
co-host.
We love you, brother.
All glory be to God.
Man, I miss y'all.
Yeah, man.
Miss
We'll,
you
we'll
too,
get you
bro.
over here soon,
Miss
and
you
we'll be in touch. I'll get you back on.
1776.
All right,
Get
bro.
out.
Peace, man.
See ya. Peace.
All right. And with that, the rest of Know Your Enemies podcast number 21. Let's run that outro. We're out of here.
Know your enemy.